Testing 1 2 1 2 3. Test test test. Everything on.
One more time.
Testing 1 2 1 2 3. Testing. All right.
No audio. That's audio.
Can you hear me? 1 2 3. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Got to get my plug in for Alabama anyway,
Okay.
since we're playing Ole Miss this weekend.
Yeah, that'll work. I'll just have to stand there and hold it, which is fine. I'll get on my knees. I'll get on my knees.
Wait a minute.
If I'm on my knees, I'm not in your camera shot, right? You are not. Earl, if I'm on my knees, I'm not in your camera shot, right?
No,
It's gonna slide, that's the problem. We've got it propped up enough, but it slides because this is, so, that way I can make sure it's working and. Oh, gosh, no, I don't wanna start the live video.
I know, that Bama.
Hey, it was okay.
That's all right. I went to Bama for some summer camps. Love this campus. That tuition.
Well, so I don't know why.
I know. That tuition now.
Well, I'll tell you what, because of all these national championships, I went back to Tuscaloosa about, I think it's 4 years ago. Every single building was under construction. I'm like, oh my God. Well, it is. They're, it's cool.
I think we played already in the football.
Yeah, so I will say this, one of my hiking therapists, somebody snapped a picture of the visitor locker room after y'all left. Completely, I mean, I was like, man, this is, a nice thing about it, because that coach is like, our motto is, better, only better. So, because not everybody does that, especially those other top college across the state, Auburn. My son-in-law happens to be the Ole Miss operator, so he's been buddy all the way through.
My sister's from the Ole Miss, so.
It's okay, but he still hangs his hat on that one win from like 7 years ago where they threw that pass bounce off arms and their receiver and he ran for a touchdown and won the game the last week. We're still
You have to remind everybody.
I say we like I was part of the somewhere.
Hey, but that's, I mean, in spirit, you are part of it.
True. Right from out of the concern. You got Ole Miss.
Good old football.
My best friend here, his son's in short. They're all about that. It's okay, man. Just you guys. One of these days, I'm gonna
sure I got you all in. We tested the audio earlier, but let me do that too. We talking for a key?
Yes. You got me? Testing 1, 2.
Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Now try.
How about now? You got me?
I think so. Yep.
All right. Good deal.
Let me get. Whenever you're ready, tell me, I'll turn this on.
We're good to go? Yeah.
Wait a second. Let me let it start. Okay.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Martin Birkenfeld. I'm the Chief of Police for the Amarillo, Texas Police Department. I appreciate you all being here today. This morning we're here to update you on a major break that we've had in the case of the shootings that occurred back on the Labor Day weekend. Last night, our detectives from the Violent Crimes Unit obtained 4 arrest warrants for David Lee Winfield. Winfield is an 18-year-old Amarillo resident. All of the warrants were for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which are directly related to the shootings that occurred back on September 5th and 6th. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in this case is a second-degree felony. Over the course of the last few weeks, detectives have been gathering information and evidence, working tirelessly to solve these cases. As a result of their investigation, evidence led them to recover the vehicle that we believe is the suspect vehicle in this case. Detectives subsequently interviewed Winfield, and based on the evidence obtained yesterday, they obtained the arrest warrants from the 47th District Attorney's Office last night. Winfield was booked into the Potter County Jail late last night on these charges. There's still a significant amount of investigation that needs to be done on this case, and we expect additional charges to be filed on Winfield. We're also going to look at anybody else who had information on this case that may have been involved in either failing to provide information or hiding evidence or anything else that could be involved in this case. So we've still got a lot of work to be done. I want to take a moment to express our appreciation to the Amarillo community for your patience in allowing us to take our time and investigate this case properly. We didn't have hardly anything to go on to begin with, but as a result of information put out and cooperation from local media, and we got a significant amount of tips in that detectives worked on, and this added to our case. Our sympathy is with the victims and the families that were affected by these horrific crimes. We're committed to completing this investigation thoroughly and bringing justice to all of those who are involved. I want to take a moment to thank the incredible officers and detectives who were involved in resolving this case. Without their diligence and attention to detail, we wouldn't be standing here today talking about an arrest. Lieutenant Warren Gross is the leader of the Violent Crimes Unit, and his leadership during this investigation was essential to the resolution that we have here today. His team did an amazing amount of work. They spent hundreds of hours working on this case, and they still have hundreds of more hours to go in completing the investigation. There were many other officers involved, both from patrol, who were the initial responders to these shooting incidents, as well as our specialized operations unit, who changed their hours and did some surveillance and worked diligently to try to find this shooter based on the limited information that we had. Also, our crime analysis unit did a substantial amount of research that contributed to the eventual arrest that occurred last night. I want to thank the 47th District Attorney's Office for their late night assistance in obtaining the arrest warrants. I also want to take a moment to thank the local office of the FBI. They provided a significant amount of technical assistance and still are on this case, and providing us a resource that we're very grateful to have. The police department is committed to making sure Amarillo is a safe place to live. We know that violent crime is an issue right now, and we're going to continue to do everything within our power to keep these things from happening, but also holding those accountable who commit these heinous crimes. Please remember that this investigation is still ongoing, and so there's some limits on the information that we can release at this moment, but I'm happy to answer any questions that I can at this time.
Can you get the spelling for the suspect arrested?
Yes, sir. David Lee Winfield, W-I-N-F-I-E-L-D. We can't really necessarily talk about the interview, but it contributed to the arrest warrants.
And is there any evidence that makes APD believe there was more than one suspect involved in the shooting?
We don't have that evidence right now, but we're continuing to talk to other people that we believe have information about this case, but we don't have anything to lead us to believe there was more than one shooter.
What had to be done to find the suspect's location?
As far as where he was arrested at,
Yes, since it was a few weeks, where was he located?
there's probably some gaps we have to fill in as to where his location was, but he was found in Amarillo last night.
Is there any motive that's clear right now?
Right now, the information that we have confirms what we suspected at first, and that this was random violence. The people had no idea who this person was, and they were just unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time when the shooter decided to commit these violent acts. Everything that we have indicates it was simply random violence.
What other charges do you think are going to be given to him?
I don't know at this time. Obviously, there's still the murder of Miss Ashley that we're investigating that we believe is connected to this. And so we still have a lot of work to do to make sure that we thoroughly investigate, but we still believe that's connected. We just haven't made the complete case yet. But we have contacted the family of Miss Ashley and explained where we're at in the investigation.
Has your investigation tied the Labor Day shootings to any of these others?
These are the Labor Day shootings that we're talking about. Yeah, the ones that occurred in Eastridge. There were a total of 5 different incidents that were connected. The 4 that occurred in Eastridge and the one that occurred over on Northwest 15th, which was Miss Ashley's murder.
But were any of the others tied to the Labor Day shooting?
So far, we don't think so. I realize there's been a bunch of other shootings. Most of those cases we've resolved by finding out who the shooter was. This was the one we were most concerned about because it was random. And you know, unfortunately, most of our violent crime is committed by people who know each other. And so there's not too much of a mystery in figuring out who did the shootings. This was very random and concerning because we didn't know who the shooter was at first. We didn't know why this occurred. And so that's why we drew a lot of attention to it, because we needed the help from the public to give us leads and information.
Did APD find, or investigators find the weapon?
Right now, we're still looking. To my knowledge, we don't have the weapon yet, but we are looking for that.
What background can you give on Winfield and, you know, his mental health or anything like that that could contribute to these shootings?
There's nothing I can give on his background right now.
Is Winfield a citizen of Amarillo?
As far as I know, he is. He was located here, and based on address information that we found, we believe he was living in Amarillo, yes.
What openings do you have for potential people that were connected with Winfield? Was this a solo act, or do you believe there were more people connected?
Right now, all of the evidence points to him being the only shooter, but we believe that other people knew information, and we'll check that out. And again, this is some of it's speculation on my part, but we believe there's some more information that is out there that will give us clues on the other cases, if that makes sense. I know I'm being kind of vague, but we believe there's more information to be gathered from other folks, but we only believe there was one shooter.
Was there any tips that led to his arrest that aided in the search?
Every tip that comes in, we investigate. Some of them, you know, led to dead ends and weren't helpful. Some of them were, and so absolutely every tip that we got was helpful. And we realized that it's hard when we've got so much information coming in, but the detectives sorted through that. And so I can't say a tip led directly to his arrest, but it contributed to the totality of the information that we used to gather the information that led to Winfield's arrest.
How many did y'all have overall, you know, just number-wise?
Yeah, I don't know the number of tips.
Did you find it helpful releasing the footage of the car? Did that lead more people to come forward with information?
It did. A lot of people sent us emails or tips on Crime Stoppers, and you know, giving what they thought was helpful information, and a lot of it was, and it kind of, you know, in somewhat of a hive mindset. I mean, you had a significant number of people believing that the vehicle was a Pontiac G6, And that, in fact, was the vehicle that we recovered last night, was a Pontiac G6. Again, there's still a lot of work to be done to connect all the dots, but certainly every tip that we get is helpful, and we're very appreciative of those. Any other questions?
No,
Well, again, I want to thank everybody. I really appreciate our local media paying attention to this story. Again, it helps generate interest. It helps generate confidence in our community that our police department is being transparent. We appreciate you being here today to report the updates on this. In the future, we expect other updates that we'll provide to you. If we need to do an in-person, we can. Otherwise, we'll put it out in a press release. Sergeant Burr and Corporal Hilton will be available anytime you have questions, and we'll try to get you as much information as we can. Thank y'all.